What's up? It's another day. Uh, so today's topic will not be slavery, for those of you who get it, but um, I talked about a little bit of my childhood. I talked about me getting together with Mary. Today's video, I'm going to talk about the early stages of our relationship. So when I came home from the halfway house, she was living with her parents still, and I was living with my mom. And so a little after I came home from the halfway house, I got a job. I want to say I was home for like 2-3 months max. And all of a sudden, Mary was pregnant. And I remember the conversation. She kept telling me she wasn't ready for kids, and I told her, like, I don't want kids. I wasn't ready for kids, and I very clearly said that as well. But then she kept, like, flip-flopping, saying she couldn't abort life. She couldn't get rid of life. And I remember her saying she just didn't feel right getting an abortion. And I told her, listen, do what you feel is best. It's your body. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to get an abortion, then we won't get an abortion. But if you want to get an abortion, I'm not going to judge you either way. But I did tell her that I'm not ready to be a dad. Like, I need to get myself, somewhere before I'm ready to say, yeah, let's do something like that. And she kept the kids. And I stepped up. I got another job, a second job, and meanwhile, through all this, I was on parole, and I was going to like a can't remember what it was called, but it's like they pretty much babysit you once you get out of prison. You're on parole. You go to this program where they teach you how to get a job and all this stuff. But it's really you're just there being babysat. You're there until like 3, and then sometimes you have to go to like an outpatient program, which I did. And I was at one point I was working 2 jobs, well 3 jobs, and then that program and helping raise my sons, my firstborns. And after a while, I remember telling my parole officer, like, hey, like, everyone at these programs keeps saying I completed, but, like, I'm still in here. Like, what's going on with this? And he kept refusing to sign me out, to let me, focus on my life and my family. And I don't remember how it happened, but I somehow got a different parole officer, and the first thing he did was allow me to be completed in those programs. And by that time, I only had 2 jobs, an overnight job and then a restaurant job. And so that whole time that I was working, going to work, coming home, taking care of house and home, like, I had moved in with Mary and her family before my firstborns were born. So we lived with her and her family, her parents. And I was paying rent for me, Mary, and my sons the whole time that I lived there. And like that whole time as well, I focused on music. After everyone went to bed and I had done my little thing around the house, I would go and I would record, write stuff, like work on music. And that whole time, Mary hated that. She was always angry if I had money to buy anything towards what I wanted to work towards. It was always like she and her mom always had calculations for the money that they needed for my paycheck, and it always left me with like 35 enough. I was always left with enough to get to and from work, But I was never left with money to be able to get food and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, why are you guys taking my entire paycheck and like let me see the bills that this is all going towards? You know, like I understand my rent and all this other shit, but like, how is the light bill $300 every single month? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, what are you guys doing? And that continued our entire relationship. I was never shown any bill. I was never shown any bank accounts. I was never, and like that's on me, 100%. I trusted someone I had no business trusting. But again, you're supposed to be able to trust your spouse with your life, and like the fact that I'm finding out 13 years later I trusted the wrong person. Like, again, that's on me. I should have seen the signs a lot sooner. But leading up to the marriage, like when we got married, it was good, but it was bad. It wasn't like horrible, but like I said in an earlier video, once we got married, that's when everything started to change. It's when like I began to feel like a possession more than a person, more than an equal, more than a partner. And our entire relationship, I was never granted that equality because I was never equal in her eyes. But I'll be back soon.